You were born sometime in the early 9th century in a small village near the northern coast of Europe, not into glory, not into freedom, into something far worse. You are born a thrall, a slave in a world ruled by warriors and gods who never listen to prayers from people like you. Your mother tells you stories about freedom sometimes, quietly, only when no one else is listening. She says her mother was once free before raiders came from the sea, before chains replaced names, before your family became property. Your father doesn't talk about it at all. He works, always works, and you will too. You reach age 3. Congratulations, you've survived the cold winters, the sickness, and a hunger that kills half the children born in your position. But surviving childhood only means one thing: more years of servitude. By age 5, you start understanding the rules of your world. You cannot speak unless spoken to. You cannot look a warrior in the eyes, and you definitely cannot touch anything that belongs to your master, which means almost everything. You live in a small dirt hut near the edge of the settlement, not inside the longhouse where the warriors eat and drink and laugh. No, that place is forbidden to you. You only enter when summoned to clean, carry, or scrub something soaked in ale or blood. Your mother washes clothes in freezing water until her hands crack and bleed. Your father chops wood until his back bends like an old tree. And you learn quickly, because thralls who learn slowly don't live very long. At age 7, the real lessons begin. Your master tosses a heavy bucket at your feet. Carry water. You drag it across frozen ground until your arms shake, spill even a little, and the punishment comes quickly. A slap, a kick, sometimes worse. The warriors laugh when you fall. To them, you're not a child, you're labor. At 8 years old, you witness your first raid returning to the village. The longships slide into the fjord like dark knives cutting through the water. Warriors jump ashore covered in blood and excitement. Behind them come the captives, men tied with ropes, women crying, children staring in silent terror. You recognize that look. It's the same one your mother still carries in her eyes. The new prisoners are pushed into the thrall pens beside you. Some scream, some beg, some promise gold, land, anything for freedom. It never works. Freedom is not something Vikings give away. It's something they take. By age 10, you are strong enough for heavier work. You haul logs for shipbuilding, shovel animal waste from barns, and clean the slaughter tables after feasts. The smell never leaves your clothes. Blood, rotting meat, smoke. Your hands grow rough and cracked like an old sailor's rope. Sometimes warriors test their strength on you just for amusement. A shove, a punch, a drunken challenge to see how long you can stand before collapsing. Thralls don't complain. Thralls endure. At 12, you learn another truth about your world. Thralls are not just workers, they are currency. A traveling trader arrives one autumn with wagons full of silver, furs, and slaves captured from distant lands. Your master inspects them like livestock, pulling teeth, checking muscles, forcing them to stand and turn. Then he points at one girl. Trade. Just like that. Her family disappears down the road forever. That night, your mother whispers something to you as you lie on the straw floor. Never stand out, she says. Thralls who are noticed are the first ones sold. Years pass, you grow taller, stronger, but never freer. By 15, you are sent with the warriors on your first raid. Not as a fighter, thralls rarely carry weapons. You row the ships, cook the meals, repair the gear, and bury the dead. But you also see things no child should ever see. Villages burning, people running, the same screams you once heard when the raiders first came for your family. And suddenly you realize something terrible. You are now part of the machine that destroyed your own life. At 17, your master begins trusting you with more responsibility. You manage younger thralls, organize supplies, even negotiate small trades in the market. Some warriors start calling you useful, but useful is not the same as free. A thrall can work 20 years for a master and still die in chains. Sometimes, if a slave proves exceptionally loyal, a master may grant freedom. They call it becoming a freedman. You hear stories about it. You never see it happen. By 25, your body is already worn down from years of labor. Your back aches constantly. Your hands shake in winter from old injuries. The warriors you grew up serving are now famous raiders. Their names spread across kingdoms. Your name? You barely remember it, because thralls rarely keep their real names. Most masters simply give them new ones. Easier to forget where they came from. You take a thrall wife eventually, not by choice but by arrangement. The master wants more workers born into his household. Your first son is born during a harsh winter. You hold him in your arms and feel something strange. Hope. Maybe things will be different for him. Maybe he'll grow up strong enough to earn freedom. But deep down, you know the truth. Thralls rarely escape their chains. The system depends on it. Years pass. Your master grows older. His sons take over the estate, and they are far less patient than their father ever was. Punishments become harsher. Work becomes harder. One winter, a thrall tries to run away. They catch him 2 days later. The warriors bring him back to the village tied behind a horse. The punishment is public. A reminder. No one tries to escape again. By 40, your body begins failing you. Years of labor have worn down your joints and lungs. Younger thralls now carry the heavy loads you once handled. You are given lighter work, tending animals, repairing fences, watching the children. But lighter work is still slavery, and slavery never truly ends. One cold autumn morning, your master dies peacefully in his sleep. The village gathers for the funeral feast. Warriors drink, sing, and prepare the burial ship. And then someone makes a suggestion. A dead chieftain should not travel alone into the afterlife. A thrall must accompany him. Your name is chosen, not because you were the worst servant, but because you were the oldest, the least valuable. They give you food, ale, even new clothes. For the first time in your life, the warriors treat you kindly, because tomorrow you will be dead. That night you sit quietly beside the funeral ship. The sea is calm. The stars reflect in the dark water. You think about your son sleeping in the thrall huts. You think about the life he'll live, the same life you did. Chains passed down like inheritance. Morning comes. The warriors gather. The ship is pushed into the water, and as the flames rise into the sky, the village cheers for the fallen chieftain, sailing into glory. But no one remembers the thrall who burned beside him, except maybe his son. And somewhere in the village, a small boy is starting to understand the rules of the world he was born into. A world where some men are warriors, and others are simply born to serve them.